Xavier outlasts Providence in overtime. The luck finally runs out for the Providence Friars, Chris. Xavier gets 23 points and 14 boards from Jack Nungy. They get 20 points from Colby Jones. They get 20 points, 9 assists, just a single turnover from Sully Boom. It was an impressive win for Xavier, considering that they didn't have Zach Fremantle tonight.
Man, it was really impressive. You felt like there in the first 8 minutes of the game that it was going to be, one-sided and it was going to be a blowout, just the way that Xavier came out smoking. You give Providence a whole lot of credit to battle back and, get right back in the game and take the lead. And it was really anybody's game until the last few possessions. To me, the way that Xavier responded without Fremantle, those guys didn't miss a beat offensively. I mean, nothing changed. I mean, it was impressive to have 22 assists and 5 turnovers. You're talking about a guy that really was the guy they were looking to in the low post, the way that they were playing sort of through him. And we've talked about this on other podcasts, the fact that Xavier's so balanced, it's hard to key on one guy, but make no mistake, they go to him underneath when they need a basket. And, tonight it was Nungy, it was Colby Jones. Kunkel hit a huge 3 towards the end of the game. They just have so many shot makers. I don't think they have a ton of depth. I was really impressed by Jerome Hunter. Plays a much different style, but man, he brought the intensity. He brought, the type of identity I think Sean wants. He gave Bryce Hopkins a tough way to go. Bryce Hopkins couldn't score. And I know he finished with double figures, but it was ugly. And he's their leading scorer. And he wasn't even a factor until about 4 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, RC, Providence went on the road into one of the toughest places to play in this league. Mac knows all about how tough it is to play and win in that building. They got 10 points on 3 of 14 shooting from Bryce Hopkins. They got 11 points on 3 of 12 shooting from Jared Bynum. That's Ed's 2 guys. Those are their 2 go-to guys, and they still managed to get it to overtime. Look, Jared Bynum hits a 3 from the corner that was halfway in, and they win that game right at the buzzer. So I came away. I know that they lost and they're a game out of first place now, and whatever. I kind of came away thinking like, yeah, Providence is the real deal. Like that team is no joke. There's no. To me, you lose the game, obviously, but there's no loss in terms of the perception for that team for me.
I said this before, and I think everybody thought I was joking around when I said it, but tonight even validated it. I still think they're the team to beat. I still think this is theirs. I think that we didn't lose in that game tonight, didn't show anything. I was more impressed with the comeback. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was the composure was there. They showed at the time out there. Coach Cooley talking to the guys like, look, let's get back to just doing what we're supposed to do. They got out rebound. They got smashed on the glass early. They gave up 7 offensive rebounds in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game. They were just getting outworked, and they just settled down, chipped away. And, I mean, credit to Xavier, to closing the show, but there's no back down. Those 2 teams will be right there at the end. This is a long way.
Elaborate on that point that you just made on why you think Providence is the best team in that league.
I think they're the best team because I like the depth. Similar to Xavier, they don't rely on certain guys. They got their main guys. They didn't play well tonight, and they're still right there on the road. I just love their balance. You got Locke. They're able to have all of their pieces fit. I think we underestimated with the portal because they got so many different guys, and you're seeing a team that started out a little slow early on because you got so many different pieces. Now they're figuring it out. They're understanding what coach wants from them. You got guys like Bynum coming from the bench. He knows he's going to play. He doesn't care. When you get that type of buy-in, it's easy to be like, hey, Chris, Rob, you guys go ahead. No problem. I'm going to come in eventually. I'm going to come in and give us whatever we need. If you guys aren't on your game, that's what it's starting to look like there. When we know Cooley's a hell of a coach, but that group is just, to me, is just starting to come together. And they got so many different pieces, even like we talked about guys coming from the bench that not everyone has.
Yeah, I thought, Croswell to me really gave him a lift. And that'd be interesting to watch, as Xavier has to play game after game without Fremantle, because he does provide some toughness and he provides some presence around the basket. And I thought, a few of the Xavier guys, got thrown around there for a bit when Croswell was going to the offensive glass. Mm-hmm. And he obviously is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. And that was certainly evident. But both those teams are really good.
They're good.
Really good. And if Providence continues to get the type of production they did out of Noah Locke in terms of space in the floor. When you have a guy that can shoot it like that, it almost becomes a 4-on-4 game because that guy can't help. He can't leave. If he does, it's 3 points. And so Noah's got that ability in him. Obviously, I coached him for a year. He's a great kid. It was good to see him, do what he did tonight for their team.